Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. In today's video I've got a load of new goodies from Collection. I also have a load of old goodies from Collection here, so I'm going to be doing a full face, but some of these products I haven't tried before. Like I say, some of them are old favourites, some of them I absolutely love, fan favourites in my routine. So let's just get on into it. I'm starting with a new primer. This is the Primed and Ready Hydrating Primer, Moisturised Skin with Hyaluronic Acid. This is my favourite type of primer, one that is actually like a skincare benefit. So I'm interested to see if this has any sort of scent to it, if it has any sort of colour to it. And I certainly was not expecting that. It's like tinted, sort of a skin tone sort of a colour. It doesn't, I've got it all over my nose now, it doesn't have any sort of scent to it, I don't think. So this just says on the back, hydrating primer helps makeup to glide on more smoothly and last longer while keeping skin feeling moisturised and fresh and looking fresh with hyaluronic acid and moisturising vitamin E, glycerin and trehalose, which of course I don't know what that means. But I don't know how well you can see, but that's definitely slightly darker than my skin tone, so hopefully this is going to blend out quite well. I do already have my brow products on because I don't have a Collection brow pencil or anything like that. I've had them in the past. I think that they're really nice. I will link the one down below that I have used that I can say I really enjoy, but it's not what I'm wearing today. The one that I'm wearing today is the XX Revolution Faux Brow, the pink one. But yes, I don't have a Collection one, so let me off for that one. Okay, so I do feel like that tint has sort of dispersed a little bit and sunk in so that you can't really see it. It's left the skin feeling ever so slightly tacky, but definitely just feeling like really nice and hydrated. I do like that a lot. And of course, Collection, cruelty-free and incredibly affordable. For foundation, this is an old favourite. I think this is their newest release for a foundation, but I've had it quite a while and I really like it. The Hydra Serum foundation, again with hyaluronic acid. If you can't tell, I'm a dry skin gal. I need all of the hyaluronic acid products and I wear this in the shade 5. So I'm just going to take one pump and really blend this out. I'm going to use a sponge and I just want a light wash of colour. I'm not doing anything too crazy, so like I say, I'm just going to use a sponge and bounce this in. And I do feel like even with one pump you get a really decent amount of coverage. It's one that I wear fairly regularly, just on an everyday basis, because it feels really nice and hydrating. Like I say, it is one of my favourites. The colour works fantastically well for me and I just find this foundation lasts really well on my skin. So then another classic, the Collection Lasting Perfection Concealer. Everybody has tried this concealer because it's fantastic. I have purchased multiple of these over my years and this just never ever fails. And I have this in the shade Down in 4 Extra Fair, just to brighten up round the eyes and also just a tiny little bit down the centre of my face. And again, I'm just going to blend this in with a sponge to keep everything really soft and hydrated. So I have just gone over my brows with the e.l.f. Wow Brow just to get rid of the like foundation-y look in the brows, because that's not what we're going for. The bronzer that I'm using is the newest one from them. This is the cream bronzer. I have spoken about this quite a few times recently on my channel. I love it, but they've only got one shade and that is just unacceptable, really, isn't it? So yes, I enjoy it, yes, it works for me, but it's not very inclusive now, is it? And I will say, it does say on the back of here that this is in the shade 1 Bronze, so they could potentially be coming out with more shades, like that could be the plan. Obviously I don't work for Collection, so I don't know, but it's still a bit rubbish, isn't it? Like launching a product and only having one shade. It's a nice shade, if you're like me and incredibly fair, but like, come on now. It's 2023, do better. And then the blush that I'm using is, of course, my favourite blush of the year. Yeah, I would say that this probably is my favourite blush of the year. It's the Collection Filter Finish Liquid Blush Light Wand in the shade Peach Pleasure number 2. I absolutely love this. If you've seen any of my videos over the summer, this was probably in it. Like, I just cannot stop using it. Like, I have to force myself to use different products on a daily basis just so that I actually use something different in my collection. Otherwise I would just use this every single day and never get the use out of everything else that I own. So I've just put those few dots on my skin and I'm going to tap them in with a brush, and like, the colour is just perfect, but it's also lovely and luminous, blends out so easily. Like, it's mindless makeup. That's what I like to call it, where you just don't have to think about it. That's what I feel like with a lot of these products. They're just so easy to use, so easy to blend, the colours work so well. It's just mindless makeup, she says, with a huge splodge of blush on her nose. That's better. So now onto the new products, and I'm going to try this one, but I will say I don't necessarily feel like I need it right now. I feel like my skin with those other products, I'm not necessarily needing to set it, but I will try this anyway. It's the Hydra setting powder with hyaluronic acid again. This says that it is transparent, but if I just swipe my finger into this, it's not. It's very, very white, and that does still like translate onto the skin even when I've blended it out. Can you, yeah, you can see just here, it's still like showing up quite white, which worries me a little bit. This is like, they only have the one shade, I do believe, but I'm going to use a little triangle puff. I'm going to just tap into this quite lightly as one can. I will tap it off onto the back of my hand, and like I say, I don't feel like I need too much powder. Really, I probably wouldn't powder this base. I feel like it's looking okay, but let's see how this works. Okay, so I've just put the powder on this side, and I feel like I can definitely see it. It's definitely brightening on my skin tone, which means that on like 95% of people it's just going to look white. Not sure how I feel about that. I will try and go over it with like a fluffy brush just to see if I can sort of blend away the powderiness. I don't feel like I applied too much. I don't feel like, you know, I applied so much that it would give me that brightening effect, but let me just try and tap it out a little bit. Try and rescue this. Okay, I do feel like that has calmed it down a little. It does still feel brighter on this side of my face. I don't know how I feel about that. I will, shall I do a brush on the other side? Yes, I will do a small fluffy setting brush. This is the setting brush from Real Techniques, and I will try and just pick up a very small amount of this. Again, I'll work it into the brush on the back of my hand so that I don't get too much on each go, and I'll see if maybe the puff just wasn't working and I needed to use a brush. No, I still feel like I'm getting a lot of that like brightening from the white colour of the powder. And obviously, like on my skin tone, if I want something that's brightening, I would just go in with a white, but a lot of people wouldn't. I'm not sure how I feel about that powder. I will keep playing and see if I can make that work, because like all of the claims on it are things that I should love. All of the claims are things that I look for in a powder. Like the lightweight, hydrating powder is what I tend to go for. but I feel like I'm not loving the whiteness of it. It looks so smooth, like even very close up in a mirror, it looks very, very smooth. It doesn't look drying, it doesn't look heavy or cakey, but I just feel like I can't get over that whiteness of it. I'm really not sure how I feel about that. So I am just going to go in with a little bit of powder bronzer because now I feel like I've lost all of that colour in my skin. So this is the Vit Hit Sweet Kiwi bronzer, which, like, we're going completely on the other side of the spectrum now. This is way too dark for me, so I'm going in with the tiniest little bit, and I'm going to just warm up the skin a little bit with this. I have also just put a little bit of that bronzer like across my eyelid. I don't have a eyeshadow palette, but I've got something that I'm wanting to use on the eyes, so I just wanted a little bit of bronzer through there. I'm going to just tap a little bit of more blush over. So this is the Soft Glow blush in the shade Rose. I'm just going to tap a little bit of that over the cheeks. So like I say, I don't have an eyeshadow per se, but the next product that I'm going to use on my eyes as an eyeshadow. This is the Diamond Shine highlighter. This looks incredible as an eyeshadow. I put off buying this for a very long time. I got a few messages from people saying that I should try it. I was like, I just don't know, it's not my sort of thing. It's very glittery, like it is just straight up glitter, which like has its time and its place, don't get me wrong, I love glitter, but a glittery chunky sort of highlight like this is not my vibe, it's not what I go for. So I was quite reluctant to buy this, but then I was putting together like this whole video and thinking what products I would use, and I have been using an eyeshadow like this in a Beauty Bay palette. I've been using it all summer long. It's the Retro Love palette, and it's the white one in there, which of course I can't remember the name of now. Love Train. That one on the top row, that white shade on the top row, has the same sort of vibe, I think, or I'm hoping it's going to have the same sort of vibe as this. So I'm excited to see what this is going to look like on the eyes. Like I say, I've already got that bronzer through the crease, and I am just going to apply a little bit of this with my finger. Let me swatch it on the back of my hand first. Yeah, this is exactly the vibe that I was going for. It's like a soft, dispersed glitter sort of a look where it just sort of catches the light and looks a little bit like wet across the eyelids. So I'm going to just tap this across my eyelids with my finger, and then if I need to, I'll blend it out with a brush. Yes, this is exactly the look that I was hoping that this would be. It's almost that like euphoric, like that euphoria look that people were doing about a year ago. I have got a little bit of fallout, but honestly, that's probably just me not like applying it properly, and obviously it's meant to be a highlight, it's not meant to be an eyeshadow, but that is pretty much the only way that I would wear this. Let me zoom you in so that you can see all of the little glitters, because I love how that looks. So it is really soft, it is very subtle shimmer, but honestly this is probably the sort of thing that I would just wear, and have indeed just been wearing every single day. Like, I've been wearing that Beauty Bay shade so often, like very, very regularly. At least a couple of times a week I've just been tapping that shade over the lid so that it creates this sort of a look, perhaps a little bit more through the crease. Like I say, I do have a tiny little bit of fallout, but that is probably just the way that I applied it. So I'm going to go in with mascara. I'm going to layer up quite a bit of this so that I've got quite a fluttery sort of lash effect. This is the Mile High Soaring Length Uplifting Volume Mascara. I have a full review of this mascara on my channel. I do feel like the more I've used this and the more that the sort of formula has dried out. I do prefer it more now than when I did that first impression. It's still not my favourite, but I'm going to apply liberally. So that is the mascara done, and I've just realised that I have done this in completely the wrong order because I have a setting spray, but never mind, we'll see if applying your setting spray after your mascara is a problem with this one. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. I do generally prefer to do my setting spray before mascara, but I forgot. So this is the Filter Finish Flawless Skin Setting Spray, Blurs and Perfects. And there was something interesting on the back of here that said that it's infused with a skin protecting soy milk probiotic complex that balances the skin's microbiome. So it is almost like a skincare sort of makeup hybrid. So I'm interested to see what the scent of this is like. It does have a little bit of a makeup-y scent, but nothing too like intense. Sometimes with setting sprays they can be very highly fragranced, and that just absolutely sets me off sneezing. So I'm going to spray a little bit of this. Oh, that seems like quite an aggressive spray. We know how I feel about an aggressive spray, but let's see how this goes. Firstly, am I happy with how everything looks before I set it in? I am. So it's not the most aggressive spray I've ever used, but it's also not the best. It's a little bit spitty, it's a little bit intense. I do feel like I've got a very wet face now. Let me get my fan. Okay, so looking close up, I do feel like that setting spray has sort of calmed down the powderiness that I was getting from the setting powder. I don't feel like it has, apart from that little bit of mascara, I don't feel like it has bothered by mascara too much. I'm quite happy with how that's looking. It was not very intense, it was quite an intense spray. I would maybe hold it a little bit further away next time, but overall, happy with how that's looking. And then the last product that I have is the Lip and Cheek Stain. Now they had two shades in this. I got Poppy number 2. I could have used this on my face as well, but products like this, stains on the cheeks, terrifies me. As somebody with quite a lot of redness in my skin, I'm a little bit wary of that. But let's see what this colour is like. Oh, that looks very intense on the little applicator. Okay, let's see. Oh no, that's nice and soft actually. That is not as intense as it looks on the applicator. Okay, let's see what this looks like on the lips. Okay, I really like that colour. That's very soft, and I mean that in like it looks like blurred on the lips. I do feel like where I've got a little bit of dryness on my lips at the minute, it is sort of grabbing a little bit sort of on the centre of the lips, but I feel like a little bit of an exfoliation before I apply this again, and it's definitely leaving a really nice sort of bite of colour. I was able to sort of apply it in the centre and then sort of smoosh my lips together, technical term, and sort of disperse quite a small amount of colour, let that dry and then build it up again. So this is a couple of layers. It dries very, very quickly. I do feel like this has fully dried down now. It doesn't feel dry, it doesn't feel uncomfortable, it does just feel like a lip stain. It just sort of feels like nothing. Let's see if transfer proof. Pretty much completely, yeah, transfer proof. I like it. Still a little bit scared to use it on my cheeks, but I like the way that it looks on the lips. I'm a big fan, but I will report back. I always do these reviews throughout the month. I'm gonna do that whole spiel now. I do these reviews throughout the month and then I come back at the end of the month and give you my final thoughts. So if you want to see what I think of all of these products as I have more time to play with them and form some more opinions, then do follow along for that like roundup review at the end of the month. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Do let me know down below if you have picked up any of these products and what you think of them, or if you're going to after watching this video. I would love to know. I'd love to know what you think of them once you try them out. But until next time, thank you ever so much for watching. Bye.